standing in front of one of the scenes of the crime. Is this a thrift shop or a theft shop? Let's find out. So what does this video, you could try wiping your fingers on your shirt, have to do with my opinion of thrift stores potentially being a ripoff? It turns out plenty. When I was shooting this video, I realized I needed a white t-shirt, but due to too many pandemic pegouts, I didn't have one that fit anymore. So I headed to a thrift shop to get a cheap one, considering I was going to deliberately stain it anyway. I hadn't been in a thrift store for some time, so imagine my surprise when all I could find was a plain white tee for $15. I begrudgingly paid it, thinking a new one must be really expensive, so I must be getting a great deal anyway. But still, something wasn't right. $15 seemed like a lot, so when I got home, I checked Amazon. Much to my annoyance, I immediately found cheaper ones like these Hanes, 4 for $20. That's $5 a shirt, brand new, and delivered to my home the same day. The shirt I bought was actually a Denver Hayes brand, which is Canadian, I believe, so I looked it up on Mark's Work Warehouse website and found the exact same shirt for $10, brand new. So now I'm feeling totally ripped off. The assumption is secondhand items are cheaper than brand new. If I were shopping in an antique store, I'd expect higher prices, but these are supposed to be a thrift store. I saw a video on a channel called freethrills.com that really struck a nerve. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. It was posted 12 years ago, but I think it still rings true today. It points out that one of the reasons for the higher prices may be due to the thrift stores thinking they're competing with eBay and all the other reseller websites. In my part of the world, the big three are now positioning themselves as better for the environment. But is that just a smokescreen to guilt us into shopping at their stores instead of buying from the resellers, or even buying new where we can get a better deal? So is one of the big three thrifters worse than the others when it comes to pricing? I wanted to find out, so I did some investigating. I checked out 10 similar items in each store and also checked out the pricing in a smaller mom and pop kind of thrift store to see who had the highest prices. In most cases, a lot of these stores have sales, so at times the prices can be cut in half, but for this study we're looking for the most expensive item in each category. The 10 categories are men's jeans, a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, a DVD, a coffee mug, men's dress shirts, women's runners, some wall art, women's earrings, furniture, and a kid's stuffed toy. Okay, let's go compare some prices. On with the men's jeans. They're usually pretty expensive brand new, so all of these prices are going to be a deal. Up first, Goodwill. Okay, so it seems Goodwill has one price for all jeans, and that is $10. But of course, they also have daily specials, so you could get some of these jeans, I guess, for as low as $5. But because we're doing the highest price, we will say a pair of jeans at Goodwill are $10. Up next, Salvation Army Thrift Store. And they had various prices on their jeans, but the most expensive I found was $9.99. Okay, on to Value Village. They also had various prices on the jeans, anywhere from as low as $9 to as high as $25.99, $26. Leap in Levi's Value Village. Get real, you put the blue in blue jean prices. Okay, Losica Foundation, their price was $7 for every pair of men's jeans. So what we have is the highest being Value Village at $26, the lowest being Losica at $7, but because most places don't have a Losica, we will say the lowest is Salvation Army at $9.99. Pretty similar to Goodwill. Okay, on to Goodwill for a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. I found one there for $4.50. At the Salvation Army thrift store, a 1,000-piece puzzle was $3.99. And at Value Village, the same 1,000-piece puzzle was also $3.99. Okay, and at Losica, the price was $5, which was actually the highest. So that's kind of surprising and puzzling. So really the lowest price for a puzzle would be either Salvation Army or Value Village. Okay, looking for a DVD. Remember the days of DVDs? Okay, at Goodwill, the price is $2 a DVD, or depending, like in this case, there's a 2-in-1 box, so it's $4. How they're getting 3, I don't know. Maybe there's only a half a DVD in there. At the Salvation Army thrift store, they're going for $2.99 a DVD. And that seemed to be the one and only price they had on those. Okay, Value Village, a DVD is selling for as high as $6. That was depending on title, it seemed. They must have the ghosts of Siskel and Ebert pricing their movies. And Losica, a DVD was going for as low as $2. So again, your best bet for a DVD is Goodwill at $2, or if you have a little mom and pop shop, they may be $2 as well. The worst price was Value Village at $5.99 based on title. Okay. A simple, plain, ordinary coffee mug. At Goodwill, you're going to pay $2. But also, and this I found really annoying, a brand name like a Tim Hortons mug was $4.50, or a Hudson's Bay mug was $7.50. That's probably not much more than it would have cost brand new on the Hudson's Bay website. This isn't fine china, people. The Salvation Army thrift store, a cup was going for as much as $3.99, which is a lot for a secondhand mug. And Value Village, a mug was going for $3.99. At Losica, a coffee mug was going for as high as $1.50. So as you can see, the best place to buy a mug, if you have a little shop like Losica, at $1.50, or actually Value Village and Salvation Army both tied at $3.99. Goodwill had a bit of a gouge at $7.50. Okay, on to men's dress shirts. Okay, at Goodwill I found one for $9. At the Salvation Army I found one for $8.99. And at Value Village I found one for an unlucky $13.99. Unlucky for anyone who pays that much for a used shirt. And at the little local charity shop, I found one for, the highest I could find was $6 for a men's shirt. So again, the little local thrift shop is your best bet, but Salvation Army, I guess, would be the best at $8.99, only a penny less than Goodwill. Okay, on to women's runners. I found these very grody Reeboks for $12.50, but really, I should have found them in the trash for free. Kinda gross if you ask me. And at the Salvation Army thrift shop, I found a pair of Pumas for $7.99. But of course now they have the price tag written right on the sole. At Value Village, a pair of really kind of tattered Merrells were $15.49. I think they're hunting in the same dumpster as Goodwill. And at Losica, a pair of Steve Maddens, who I always thought was a sportscaster who branched out into a line of shoes. Oh, wrong Madden. In almost pristine condition, we're going for $7. And actually that day they were going for half price, so $3.50, but that doesn't count. We're looking at the highest price. And so your best bet for shoes may be Salvation Army if you don't have a little local thrift shop. But run from the quality and prices at Goodwill and Value Village. Okay, on to some art. I chose the same size for each shop. So at Goodwill, we're looking at $6.50 for a abstract painting, whatever it is. At the Salvation Army, we have a colorful zebra for $4.99. And at Value Village, of course, we have the highest price at $13.99. Come on, Value Village, this isn't the Louvre Museum in Paris. And at Losica, we have the lowest price at $3. So for your artwork, it looks like your best bet is either a local shop or Salvation Army at $4.99. Forget Value Village unless you have some original Van Goghs to hang their art next to. Okay, up next we have women's earrings. And at Goodwill, a pair of earrings will set you back $7.50 due to this black glam tag thing. I don't know exactly what that means, but the only price I could find on earrings was $7.50, which I thought seemed rather high. Come on, Goodwill, you're not selling the crown jewels here. Okay, at Salvation Army, a pair of earrings, all I could find was the highest price being $2.99. Okay, at Value Village, a pair of earrings, the highest I could find were $5.99. And at the little local thrift shop, the highest price I found was $2. So there you go again. Your best bet is the local shop, but also the Salvation Army had the lowest price. Goodwill was just outrageous with their glam tag thing. I don't know what that's about, but $7.50 is a little outrageous for used earrings. Okay, on to furniture. At Goodwill, I found this chair. It was in decent condition, and it was $8.50, so I didn't think that was too bad a deal. At Salvation Army, I found a chair there for $11. It was made of wood, and it looks kind of antique-y, so I guess not a bad deal. And at Value Village, this chair that probably should be in the garbage by now, in the landfill, unfortunately, was going for $6.99. And the little local shop did not sell furniture. It's that little. So there you go for Value. Value Village obviously is the lowest price, but the quality was so bad that I would spend the extra $1.50 and get something decent rather than decorating your home in mid-century dumpster. Okay, and then on to kids' stuffed animals. At Goodwill, I found this unicorn for $3.50. At the Salvation Army thrift store, I found a little, I don't know what it is, lamb for $4.99. And at Value Village, I found a bunny for $4.99 as well. And at the little local shop, I found a bear or monkey, I'm not sure what that is, for $3. So again, the best deal is at your little local shop, but other than that, Goodwill has the best deal at $3.50 for something like that. Okay, so let's take a look at final totals. Okay, with no furniture, because the little local place didn't have furniture, so to buy 9 items at these thrift stores, Goodwill will set you back $59.49, Salvation Army $15.91, Value Village a whopping $94.41, and a little local shop would probably set you back about $36.50. So that's for 9 items. So on average, you're paying $6.61 at Goodwill, $5.65 at Salvation Army, $10.49 at Value Village, and $4.05 at a little local shop. Okay, taking the local shop out of the equation and counting all 10 items, you're looking at $67.99 at Goodwill, $62.90 at Salvation Army, and a amazingly high $101.40 at Value Village. So on average at Goodwill, you're going to be spending $6.80 an item, $6.29 at Salvation Army, and $10.14 at Value Village. So obviously Salvation Army is probably the best priced, but they're all very extreme. So what I expected to find was a bit of price fixing here where all stores were the same, but what I'm seeing is Value Village is just outrageous compared to Salvation Army and Goodwill. But Salvation Army and Goodwill, their prices are very similar enough to make me think, well, maybe they're just being competitive with each other. I don't think they're price fixing, but still their prices are way higher than they should be, especially when you consider a little local shop can sell for as low as they do. Okay, so there you have it. This is all my opinion, but after being ripped off by Goodwill for that t-shirt and seeing how Value Village likes to sort of deceive, in my opinion, the way they position themselves as a charity when in fact they're for profit all the way, I've kind of lost my faith in thrift stores. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced this kind of situation with the thrift shop. Okay, so that's it. That's the deal with thrift stores. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced this kind of situation with the gift shop. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced this kind of situation with a gift shop. Let me know in the comments. Let me know.